Welcome everybody to the AdHitProfits Webinar, June 13th, 2013. Before we get started, I'm just going to click the recording button here. So everybody, again, welcome to our webinar, June 13th, 2013. Tonight we're going to be discussing quite a lot about AdHitProfits. We've been having a lot of growth. I've been really excited to see a lot of the things going on, and I know that we've been receiving a lot of praise and positive words as far as with what's going on with AdHitProfits. That really is something that a lot of people, in fact, pretty much the most common thing that I've heard is I've never experienced this with any online company ever before, and I'm just so grateful to have all of you involved here and taking part in this opportunity and how this is changing your lives. Real quickly, I wanted to share with you a testimonial from one of our advertisers, just to kind of start this off tonight. And this is Alcus Hilton, and he messaged me saying, "Charles, I have some amazing facts for you." And he says that he ran an ad in a Moneymaker forum, the 728x90 for 24 hours, and he asked me, "How many clicks do you think that he got, how many?" And I was like, I really had no idea, so I just asked him to tell me, and he said 30. And he said that he ran the same exact ad on AdHit for 24 hours, and he asked me to guess how many clicks. I said 35, 17, I don't know, maybe 10. He said 460 clicks on his ad. And I was thinking, no way. And not only that, but he explained that with this Moneymaker group that he was advertising on, he had one sign-up on his ad, but 29 sign-ups came from AdHitProfits. So that, to me, just shows that this is a phenomenal place to advertise. Now, a lot of people, they've been talking about our Alexa ranking, and our Alexa ranking is very decent. I don't know if you've ever compared the Alexa ranking with any other website, any other multi-level marketing company, anything that could even compare to this. But if you take a look at our Alexa ranking and see what's really been going on here in terms of visitors to our website, this alone is phenomenal. Now, a lot of people are not too familiar with what 1,000 or 1,300 or whatever Alexa ranking is. Now, just to let you know, this number here, the 2,796, that's a 3-month average. AdHitProfits has not even been online for 3 months, so a part of that is averaging in some large 3 million number. So I really think that this is amazing. Now, I think I'm realizing that I'm thinking I'm doing screen share, and oh, there we go. Now I got screen share turned on. So now you should be able to see my screen as well as the webcam. Sorry about that, everybody. So just to let you know, so this is our Alexa ranking. If you haven't yet seen it, this is it right now. And I'm sure if you're looking at this from the future back on today, I'm imagining that this is going to continue to grow and grow and grow. Now, just taking a look here, some people might see this kind of Alexa ranking and say, I don't even know what that means. Let's take a look and see exactly what that means, because what this means is that there are 2,055,801 page views on AdHitProfits, and this is recorded within the last 24 hours. Another thing that's kind of interesting here is that of all of those page views, they came from 258,408 unique individuals. So these are completely different people, real live traffic, viewing the advertisements on our website. And so no wonder why advertisers are seeing much greater results here at AdHitProfits on their banner advertising than they've experienced anywhere else, is because they're having more eyeballs on their banners than they've probably experienced most anywhere else. So that's something just to consider if you're thinking about growing another opportunity, if you're a business owner, if you're within any kind of multi-level marketing opportunity. AdHitProfits really is a prime spot for you. Now, to kind of talk a little bit about AdHitProfits, I know that a lot of people that are here tonight are new. And the reason I'm kind of guessing that is because we've grown by a few thousand people just within the last week. We're now over 18,000 paid members here at AdHitProfits. And as I've been talking to some leaders about that on calls and conferences and things like that, they have said, wow, this is just a baby. This is just beginning. And they're projecting how far this is going to grow within the next month and what they see is going on in the next year. So people have been asking me, what do you see the development of AdHitProfits? And just to be honest with you, when I first started AdHitProfits, I was just merely looking to create something that could share revenues and have it be completely self-supported with real revenue so that any earnings on your account would be available for withdrawal absolutely. I had no idea it would capture such attention throughout the industry. And now that it has, kind of the growth has now brought on a whole new vision of where we can really take AdHitProfits. And what I really see with AdHitProfits is that we could really actually start to compete with Google and Facebook and all these other advertisers, mainly because I reflect back when I first came online. When I first came online back in 2008, I had joined a multi-level marketing company called eFusion, and I didn't want to bug my family and friends. That was an absolute, I'm not going to do that. That's just how I felt. That's what I believe. I know they're not entrepreneurs. I am. I need to connect with like-minded individuals. So Deb, you're saying you can't hear me. Can anyone else not hear me? Can everyone hear me? Okay, good, good. I'm glad to. Okay, great. Wow, just explosions of yeses. So I'm glad that everyone can hear me. So when I first came online, I didn't know the first thing of how to find targeted people, and I thought, well, sure enough, people are Googling how to make money or making money from home or income opportunities. And I started to think about, Google AdWords. So I started to pay for Google AdWords to bring people to my website. And I'll tell you, I was probably, I'm trying to remember my bid back then. I mean, this was back in 2008, 5 years ago. And I think that my bid was somewhere like 75 cents a click on Google AdWords. And I was really surprised that I didn't get any results. None. I never had any sign-ups. I wasn't having any success. And of course, back then, a lot of people were telling me, you're never going to make any money online, and that I should just give up and go try to get a job with good benefits and retire and things like that. But of course, I was tapping into Robert Kiyosaki and a number of other entrepreneurs, and I really wanted to take hold of this entrepreneurial mindset that says, I can create something, I can build something, I can use the internet, I can leverage the power of the internet and grow an income for my son and I, and also help others as well grow an income for themselves as well. So when it comes to marketing, what I see here is now that we're going to have such a large part of the industry, I mean, just to let you know, most safe lists and traffic exchanges don't have more than 200 or around 200 to 300 active clicking members every day. And between that amount, I mean, you might buy a solo ad that's going out to somewhere maybe up to 10,000 people. Here at AdHitProfits, we have over 18,000 paid members. I mean, that's when you start to see that this can really become a major hub for internet marketers who are really seeking to grow their income opportunities. And so as we grow bigger and bigger, there's been some who say, isn't that going to dilute the number of shares versus how much revenue is coming in for the banners? And what I'm seeing is as we get bigger and bigger, I'll switch the banner advertising over to pay-per-click and even save advertisers money. Instead of having it being 30 or 70 cent bid for a click, it could be something like 15 to 20 cents per click. So saving advertiser money off of what they're spending elsewhere, reaching an actual targeted market. And even if we had it 5 cents a click, I mean, I'm just seeing that that would actually lower the cost for the advertisers and increase actual revenues for everyone to have their share in. So that's where I see as we get bigger and bigger there is just so much more that we can do to tap in to the industry and tap into the advertisers and really harness everything that we have, because I mean, when we have that much of a community within a targeted niche, it really becomes almost like a major place to go, a place that if any new company is starting up, they're going to start to say, you know, we recognize that AdHitProfits is beating our own Alexa ranking. We need to use that company to promote our business. And that's where the eyes are. That's where everyone is in the industry. So as this gets bigger and bigger, that's kind of the vision of this. And especially as we have the forum, another great thing about the forum that I really like is people are posting their programs that they're involved in. So as people are Google searching those programs, our forum is coming up within some of the top listings on Google because they're posting that. So if you haven't yet done that, you might want to start using the forum and posting topics and competing in there, because it's just like those topics are kind of like the directory listings. You actually receive that top next position when you pay $45 for a listing in the forum. And as programs start to fail, or maybe they're not paying, we'll move them over to the non-paying section. So again, as people are searching to find out is that still paying, they'll find out the truth that they're no longer paying. They'll get all of the information as well as lead them to AdHitProfits. So there's some real great benefits to having the forum built in. So now with the growth of AdHitProfits, I wanted to show you something. Oh wow, we reached 501 attendees already. I just received like all these pop-ups on my screen. Okay, I just had to close those out. I'd never expected to reach 501. It looks like we might have to get a bigger room for next week. All right, so I had to close down all those pop-ups. Sorry about that. Kind of threw off my train of thought. But with AdHitProfits growing, what we're seeing here is 18,000 people. Now, I know that when we were small, maybe a couple of thousand people large, there were a number of people that were really familiar with just contacting me directly, because I was pretty much the support reference resource for people to get a hold of to take care of any kind of matters or anything like that. But let me just show you something, because there's people that say, well, Charles, I know you're busy, but can you spare 5 minutes? Let's take 5 minutes and multiply that by 18,000 people who all want 5 minutes of my time. I mean, that's how many minutes we're looking at. Now, how many minutes are in an hour? There's 60 minutes in an hour, and then there's 24 hours in a day. So if I gave everyone just 5 minutes, I'm looking at 2 months worth of 5-minute increments. And so, I mean, I really don't have the time anymore to have that personal touch with everybody. And so I wanted you to know right up front that if you've been trying to contact me and you haven't received a response, it's because I'm just being flooded with contact requests through my Facebook, through email, through Skype, and just any possible way. I guess somebody was able to find out my phone number, so I was getting phone calls. It could be kind of just really overwhelming having all these people just trying to contact me directly, which I really appreciate. And on that same note, there's leaders who say, you know, it would really benefit our team if you spoke with our team directly. Can you come on to our call? And I really respect that. I mean, I appreciate that, and I really want to be on every team's team call, but it's just not humanly possible to do that anymore. So what I would certainly invite and recommend is, if you have a team that you want to get to know me and see me and feel connected with me, bring them on a main AdHitProfits call. It looks like we're going to have to get some more attendees and have that be more available, or also show them our YouTube video channel, because on YouTube our channel actually does have a lot of information about me, about the opportunity now. Because there are so many people that are new here, I want to really go over the opportunity for you to really clarify and help you see exactly what's going on here. And I'll just start off by going to the How It Works page. What's really great here is this is really here for anyone who is trying to build any kind of business opportunity. That was the real goal and the whole intention here, is that people would want to grow any business opportunity that you're involved in and list your own self, maybe your own website, your banner, your opportunity in our directory for $45. And I was thinking about it when I was developing this, that, you know, just like I was saying before about Google, people are trying to compete for that #1 and top position on Google. With that, I was thinking, well, hey, if I could put some kind of competition in that, people could purchase that top position in the directory, and then as more people came in to buy more directory listings, they would be pushing their directory listing down. So if they wanted to be listed back up on top, then they would have to bump their listing back on top. And so that's what a bump is. As people are talking about, I was able to bump my listing back up, or using that term bump, that's what it's doing, is it's bumping your directory listing back on top. Now, each purchase and each repurchase of the listing or bumping your listing back to the top is giving you an additional 1,000 visitors to your website, as well as a share, or what I might even call it is a bucket, where all of the revenues that are coming in are split among everyone that has these revenue shares. So a common question that people have is, where does the revenue come from? And it's just right here on the How It Works page. The revenue comes from other people who are buying revenue shares. Now, if you've ever been involved in a revenue share, one of the reasons why they have stalled, slowed down, and crashed or burned is because they're only splitting the revenues of revenue shares. So I knew in the development at the very early stages of AdHitProfits that I would want to offer additional services outside of the revenue share portion, so that the revenues could be shared with those who have the shares, if that makes sense. So with AdHitProfits, you're going to be sharing in the revenue from the forum advertising services. You're going to see the revenue coming in from all of these banners that are being purchased up here. You're going to see the revenues being shared for this 468 by 60 banner ads, which you'll see on the bottom of each page, as well as when you're viewing ads on the actual ad view, right next to the countdown timer, that frame there. So those are all bringing in revenue. Now there's some account conveniences as well, which I heard early on from people saying, you know, I really like this idea of sharing revenue, but I really don't want to click ads every single day. Or maybe they say, well, what happens if I go off on vacation? What can I do then? I'm going to be away from my computer for a week. I've got such and such I need to do away from my computer. That's where vacation mode comes in as such a strong benefit for you, is if you're tired of clicking, if you are needing to be away from your computer, then you can simply purchase a vacation for $25, and for 7 days you won't have to click on ads, and you'll continue to receive a split in all of the revenues on all of your shares. And so people are asking, well, when does my share expire? Or when do I max out? How long does it take? Well, that time will vary, but the real, I guess, politically correct answer on that is going to be at $56.25. As you keep clicking your 10 ads daily, or if you have that vacation mode turned on, then as the revenues are shared and split with you, you'll continue to receive a split in those profits up until the $56.25. So, I mean, that's going to be 125% back. So you get your $45 back, as well as an additional $11.25. And I know that there's been some people who started out and said, hey, this is nothing, $11.25, that's nothing. But you start multiplying your shares, and you start multiplying your earnings. And you start to see that there's people that have really turned this into a significant thing for them and made some real life changes. And here in a little bit, I'm going to actually have one of our members who volunteered to share a testimonial of AdHitProfits with us tonight. And I'll be getting with him here in just a minute, or in a little bit here. So that's kind of how AdHitProfits works in a nutshell. Now, if you have any questions about how it works, I highly recommend the FAQs, mainly because contacting support, I mean, especially with so many people like I was illustrating before, it can really bog down bog things down just by asking certain things. I had one person that asked me, how does this work in a nutshell? And I said, are you kidding? Because I said, that's how I worded it in the FAQ, and they said, I didn't even realize that. It says, in a nutshell, how does this work? And it just really goes over pretty much what I was explaining, is that you get this bucket, is how I kind of call it, because there's some people that kind of get confused by this word share, and they don't understand what that exactly means. But it's kind of like you got a bucket, and you got yourself 1,000 visitors to your website, a directory listing. It's a permanent directory listing. And as you hold on to that bucket, it fills up to $56.25 as all of these purchases are coming through. And the more shares that you purchase, or the more listings or bumps you have, the more buckets you have to fill. And so that's really just how it works in a nutshell. There's people that say, what about paying it forward? Or what happens if I don't click 10 ads before the timer runs out? Well, just like it says here, simply you'll stop receiving your share and revenue until you begin clicking again. It's pretty simple, straightforward, and as you keep clicking your 10 ads, you'll continue to receive your split and your share in revenue up until the $56.25. So there's a lot of information in the frequently asked questions, and another great place that you can go is the forum. Common problems and questions that people have, and it's actually quite amazing, all of the information that's really here. I know that a lot of people have experienced, and maybe not a lot, but I mean it's a common problem that we hear of a lot, even though percentage-wise within the company not a lot of people really bump into this. But problem clicking ads. The main reason why that happens is because of this add-on called Ad Blocker. That's the main reason, or maybe a browser hasn't been updated or anything like that. Now, I know that there's also been some questions that people have had about compliance and about what about the SEC. Now, one thing that I think is very important to point out here is that there has definitely been a lot of programs shut down by the government here in the United States. And that's a valid concern. And it's really good, I mean, especially from a member perspective, to know, is this at risk of that? And I can't really say that we're bulletproof, mainly because there's people who really believe that you can get shut down for doing nothing. I believe we're fine because I believe in the government that they don't just shut us down for doing nothing wrong. But to tell you about, as I'm seeing a question here about the SEC, their jurisdiction is over securities. So if I'm running a Ponzi scheme, or if I'm running some kind of investment opportunity, and I don't have the licenses, and I don't have, if I'm not set up through the commodities and exchanges and all that kind of thing, I'm not trading in commodities or currencies or anything like that. So the SEC really has no jurisdiction over this, because there's nothing mentioned on this website that there's any investment at all. It's all talking about purchasing advertising and qualifying for split in revenue that are real revenues. And if they were to come in and audit, which I've been doing many times lately, especially as we've been seeing a lot of growth, I've been making sure that every single amount earned on every member account, the combined collective total of every member's earnings, is available in all of the processors. So I'll go through, and my programmer has now built in a statistic in my admin panel that shows me the total of what's on every person's account. And then I can go and add up all of the amounts that are inside the processor, and absolutely every single penny is backed up in the processor. So if there was a regulator that came in and said, hey, we just want to check and make sure you're not a Ponzi, they'll be able to find out that we're not real quick by just doing a quick audit just like that. So I really believe very strongly that we're at no risk. Now I kind of relate this to when you're on the freeway. You might see someone else get pulled over by the police, and you might feel a little bit worried. You might feel a little bit self-doubt. Will I get pulled over next? And you kind of just check your speedometer, and you say to yourself, I'm not speeding. You're thinking to yourself, my plates are registered. Everything's good there. I'm buckled up. My son's buckled up. Everything's good. My tags aren't expired. I got them renewed. The emissions. I'm not going to get pulled over. You know, you can kind of feel confident as you're going down the road that you're not going to get pulled over. So that's what I feel like with AdHitProfits is I have done a lot of research and study into the laws to make sure that I'm compliant completely with all of the laws. I'm not using any of the terminology that would put us at risk. I also have a compliance officer, John Rock, that's on board. He's been retained. He's actually in town. I'm going to be meeting with him tomorrow and kind of going over exactly how this is. I'm going to kind of, I can imagine myself doing some show and tell, showing him how every single penny is truly backed up in the processors. I'm kind of excited actually to show him that because it's probably something that a lot of compliance officers aren't familiar with, or even people inside of these types of opportunities have not seen for themselves. So I want to be able to kind of prove that so he can be an added witness that this is an absolute genuine income opportunity, that real sales revenues are coming in. Real people are buying these ads. The advertisers are really happy with their purchases, and they keep buying it again and again and again. And we really are sharing those revenues with everyone, and the amount that's on your account really does come from real revenues, and you can cash out and pull that out at any time. Now, the only delay that I can see if you are withdrawing your funds is sometimes, and I've seen this just a couple of times, there's been some kind of API problem, especially with Solid Trust Pay. And I say especially, but it's only really happened a couple of times since our launch. But I'll notice that all of a sudden there's like 36 pending payouts, even though it's turned on instant. So I'll check and see and start processing them through manually. And for some reason, I have to process them manually for a couple of hours, and then they get their system back up and running, back how it needs to be, and then we're back on track to those instant payments. Other than kind of like an API kind of an issue like that from the processor side, the other issue that I can see that could delay payouts is if a member or a user enters in the wrong payment ID. So thank you. I mean, for all of the members that we have, this actually happens a very small percentage of the time, probably like 0.1% or something, such a small percentage, where somebody enters in like a username or a bunch of numbers or something for their Payza account information. So thank you to everyone who's using their email address for their Payza withdrawals, using their Solid Trust Pay for their Solid Trust Pay withdrawals, and using their Easy ID for their Easy Bond withdrawals. That helps make it so that it's really fast. I've been talking with Easy Bonds to help get them switched over to an instant processing as well. They've thought that their system was set up to be able to do that, but we need to kind of work with them a little bit more, as well as to kind of expedite deposit times, as some people are waiting up to 10 days for deposits to go through. So that's kind of AdHitProfits in a nutshell, where we're going as a company, and kind of as we're growing and developing larger. Again, I kind of want to reiterate that my involvement with having direct customer support is going to be decreasing more and more. So less and less direct contact with individual members, and all of that. I really want to have that flow through the customer support desk. Now, if you click on contact, you can fill out your name, your email, and your message, and get that submitted. Right now, we have 4 people working on support desk tickets, and one of the things that we can bump into is they might also be receiving contact through the Skype rooms. They also might be receiving contact through their personal Skype contacts, or through their Facebooks, or through their emails, or through all these different mediums, and not just through them, but others. And so what we're bumping into are a lot of duplicates, and having a lot of duplicates actually does slow things down. So if you want to have your issue resolved the fastest, please only submit 1 support ticket. Or if you contact anyone through the Skype chat, that you only contact through Skype chat. Because if you contact through Skype and the support tickets and all of that, then we do the research, we solve the issue and find out that it's already been solved. So just save yourself some time and headache having to duplicate things on your end, as well as help us keep things going fast by only submitting things once. And I'm going to kind of scroll back up. It looks like there's some questions that are coming through here. And I want to make sure to answer any of your questions that you might have about AdHitProfits, or about myself, about my history, about anything. That's excuse me, that's something that a lot of owners don't really. I mean, nothing's taboo. Ask anything, and I'll be happy to answer that. Does it make sense to advertise diet and wellness products in AdHitProfits? I would definitely say that with AdHitProfits, you're going to see probably the best results targeting the making money online type of thing. I mean, if people are generally here seeking for ways to make money online, make money from home. These are business people who have been involved in multi-level marketing, direct sales, pay to click, those types of things. So if you're looking to advertise something, I'd probably say stay within this niche because this is the kind of community that's being developed here. What is a forum? Skype, Facebook. The forum is just right here on AdHitProfits. I'm assuming that you're still able to see my screen here. If you just click on forum, then you'll be able to actually see all of the different topics and everything that's there. I can broadcast on my Hangout if you want. Yes, personal touch is right here. I thought I heard you say that if any one given time, if everyone requested withdrawal, you'd always maintain the amount in various processors to cover what is showing. Yes, absolutely, Kelly. Everything is completely backed up, and I make sure to review that, especially as we've been having a lot of growth. It's something that I've always wanted to make sure that, of course, everyone's taken care of, because it's not only my reputation on the line, but I know that there's a lot of people that are involved in AdHitProfits that have been involved in other opportunities that have since fallen. And I want to make sure that people, as they're trying to regrow and redevelop their own reputation with their family and friends and their networks of people, that they're also going to look good to their family and friends and all of their contacts and associates. So that's what I'm doing, always making sure that everything is backed up there. We need to have AHP working all time zones. Yeah, you know, AdHitProfits is something that should be always available online 24 hours, 7 days a week. Now, kind of along those lines, there's definitely been some growing pains. AdHitProfits started April 8th, and we've already grown to a phenomenal size, and as you saw with the Alexa traffic ranking, exceeding that of even a lot of multi-level marketing company websites. So seeing us being this large, this early, with this much traffic, and this many people hitting refresh on their dashboards every 30 minutes, it can definitely cause some slowdown. The script has been optimized many times to support such high volumes of traffic, and I know that yesterday we had a bit of a pause, not a pause per se, but the revenue shares themselves kind of got stuck as there was just too much processing all at once. That process kind of got hung where the shares just weren't being dispersed. The sales were coming in and they were just sitting there pending. So definitely thank you everyone for your continued belief and trust. And I know that you guys have been hurt in other programs recently. So there's still a little bit of a trust factor there, and thank you very much for your trust and all of that. I know that during that small time there was a bit of a fear that people were having. Are we going to crash? And is this going to die? Are we going to lose all of our money? No, absolutely not. And that's one of the things that I really want to reiterate is all of your earnings on your account are absolutely backed up in the processor. So if you ever notice any kind of glitch or anything with the website, it's just because it's part of the growing pains of a company, making sure that we have the script developed to be able to handle and optimize the database to be able to handle the growth and the traffic and the refreshing. And I think that's something that when I first put this together, I wanted to have the sharing of the revenue as real-time as possible. And I recognized that having it each sale was a little bit too ridiculous. So that's where it's every 30 minutes. And then it really caught on that people are seeing their balance increase every 30 minutes. So people are getting paid every 30 minutes. It's something that's very exciting. So people are now refreshing their page. I never expected that at the beginning, to see all these people refreshing their page every 30 minutes. But that's one of the reasons why, and it's funny, just even if you notice on this webinar, when I clicked on forum, it happened to have been right at 5:30 when I first clicked on that. And it took a minute for the form to come up because of the number of people that were probably inside of the member area hitting refresh. It's kind of funny. So somebody says that they have 2 questions. One, how many $25 a week holidays can you buy in a row? You can actually choose any number. If you wanted, you can buy 800 at a time. There's no limit to how many vacations you can purchase. You just simply change the one that's in the field and to any number, and then hit preview, and then complete your purchase, and that'll set you up for however many weeks that you've purchased. The next question is, if my referral only deposited through Payza, can he withdraw through Solid Trust Pay? And for people who are asking this question, it's really about anti-money laundering laws and regulations. We want to make sure to stay in compliant with those. So if you purchase through Solid Trust Pay, you can only withdraw through Solid Trust Pay. There's also going to be some commissions that come in through, so you can kind of switch from Solid Trust Pay to Payza without having to pay with Payza, but you can't pay with Payza and expect to withdraw with Solid Trust Pay, just because of just some of the rules and regulations that we have to be mindful of there. Same thing with Easy Bonds. It's a very secure measure just to make sure as well that we're deterrent of any kind of hackers or fraudsters who might be trying to steal your money. It's a lot easier to open a dispute with Payza as well to get those funds to come back. So if somebody has paid with Solid Trust Pay and then withdrawals with Payza, it's something that's available because of the that easy ability to get those funds back in case there is a problem. So if that answers your question, that's why if you pay with, or if you want to withdraw with Solid Trust Pay, you need to first pay with Solid Trust Pay. If you want to withdraw with Easy Bonds, you have to first pay with Easy Bonds. Otherwise, you can't withdraw through those processors just because of the security and compliance measures. Let's see here. Will there be a question and answer session? Yes, feel free. If you guys have questions, I'm going to try to get to as many questions as we can. Now, before I actually go into a lot of the question and answer, Kelly, I know that Kelly Williams was asking me earlier if he could come on and share some of his experience with AdHitProfits, so let me bring him on. Kelly, if you're here, can you raise your hand? I think he's here, but oh, there you go. All right, I'm going to turn on the mic for you, Kelly, and you can go ahead and share what it is that you wanted to share.
Let's see. Charles, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Can you still hear me?
Absolutely, I can hear you just fine. I've got your mic turned on for you. I'm just turning mine off so there's not any weird distortion. Are you still there? Here, let me try to turn your mic back on here for you.
All right. Can you hear me okay now, Charles?
Absolutely, yes. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm sorry. I guess when you kind of flipped the switch, all wires went haywire. But first of all, I just want to say thank you to Charles for putting together, what I consider a very incredible opportunity for all of us. And so with that, I've been involved with online marketing since 2007. And my story is very similar to Charles. However, I became really proficient at pay-per-click advertising. And those that are aware of pay-per-click, it's kind of gone through, its ups and downs with Google because they're the god in the sky to protect everybody, and and so you can get banned from Google and so on. So there's a lot of rules and restrictions to go through. But in my case, I was able to go through all of those and become very successful, knock on wood. And fortunately for me, I got through most of that, but I was able to build a pretty substantial list. However, with that, it cost me thousands and thousands of dollars for advertising. And so I just want to say, with what Charles has put together with this advertising platform, and I don't think he's trying to emphasize the value of that advertising space is very, very significant for all of us who want to advertise. And so you may come to the website and you see all these ads flashing at you, and you're going, what's the value of that? The value is very, very significant because we all want to get clicks. We want to get people to view our ad and so on. And as he just described earlier with this other gentleman that gave him a testimonial of the advertising space, that value is incredible if you're getting that many clicks. And so in my case, as, quote, a person who has not been afraid to spend money on advertising, and that's all, and it's paid off. I'm just telling you, the money truly is in the list. And so what the platform he has created for all of us, just from the advertiser's standpoint, is significant. And then when he threw in the fact that, well, gee, maybe we can even grow faster if I share in all of the share all of the revenues with advertising members. That to me is significant, because with that, he's driving more and more traffic to the website, increasing the value of that advertising space for all of us. More advertisers are going to want to come and place ads here because they're going to hear more and more stories of what's going on, and the value will continue to increase. And so I think also for all of us as people who are benefiting, quote, from the revenues that are being generated from the company and from the advertising space that Charles has created, we need to recognize that it's our business as well. Charles is one person, and I don't think in his wildest dreams he thought that what has happened would happen. And so we need to take responsibility for ourselves and our teams, and also take responsibility as we see things happening out there and people saying things inappropriately who are members, that we need to be the, quote, police force online to help. And I think it's our obligation to do that. And when we raise our hand and we have one person join our team or 5,000 people join our team, we then become a leader. We need to help those people in any way that we can. And it's not, helping isn't saying, well, just go submit a support ticket. Helping is, well, let me find the answer. Let me go on the forums. Let me do whatever it takes to help you, so that we then are in essence helping Charles and helping AdHitProfits become more profitable, more sustainable, and more long-term for all of us. Because you take a poll amongst all the people, all the members who are involved, our overall goal, especially based on the fact that when you see all of these other companies drop like flies, is to be able to see AdHitProfits continue to flourish for years and years to come. And in my case, I made a connection with Charles. I was unaware when I sent in my first Skype question that I was actually talking with the founder of the company. I thought it was a support person, and I said, well, if you can pass this along to the owner, and we made a connection. And besides that, I learned that Charles only operates 25 minutes from me. And so we've made this connection, and I think all of us will agree you're not going to find anyone as humble, as sincere, and as willing to get in the trenches and help all of us build a very sustainable business, and so it's going to profit us and also those people who follow us for many years to come than Charles is. And you all know, we've all been associated with people, and the kind of greed-jarring, quote, founders and creators many of them are. Charles is one of a kind, and I just want to stand up and say, hey, we all need to have his back, and also press forward and be the kind of quote leaders and representatives of AdHitProfits that we want in order to sustain a long-term opportunity for all of us. So I just want to say thank you, Charles, for all that you've done and all you continue to do. And I admire Charles because to me he also knows when to turn off the switch and spend time with an 8-year-old son. And there is no greater asset in this world than your children. And to me, we all need to respect that and understand that. And so thank you very much, Charles, and appreciate all you're doing.
Thank you very much, Kelly, for those words. And you know, just like what you're saying, a lot of people who are involved here, pretty much everybody, the main concern is let's make sure this lasts forever. And the best way to do that is to use the correct terminology when you're promoting AdHitProfits. Make sure that you're not using the word invest, because there's no investment here. Even though you are sharing in a revenue, and that revenue maxes out at $56.25, and that is an increase from what you began with of 125%. It is not an investment that is like investing in you know, I mean, it's not like a commodity or something like that. I mean, this is something that you're purchasing an actual valuable service. And just to show you, let me turn back on my screen share. What I wanted to show you is an actual statistic that an advertiser shared with me, and they were only using just a few resources like Dr. Traffic, and they use a lot of different traffic exchanges to drive traffic through. So this is kind of like an average traffic exchange rate. So he was getting some people to sign up to his list, 0.26%. So I mean, not even 1%. Traffic to prosperity.com, 0.4%. Again, not even a single percentage. And look at the number of hits versus what he had with AdHitProfits. AdHitProfits, 543 hits. Of that amount, 18 signups. So with less traffic, he got more signups. So that was a 3.3% opt-in rate into his list that he just said to himself, you know, I've never seen this high opt-in rate for the amount of traffic. And there's a lot of people I've seen that are purchasing their directory listings. And sadly for them, I believe, if they're involved in any kind of income opportunity, or if they have a website they want to drive traffic to, if they're trying to build a list, and if you're new to internet marketing, you're going to hear this probably now for the first time, but you'll hear it 1,000 times throughout your entire career online, is the money is in the list. And if you haven't yet built your own brand and created an opt-in page for people to sign up and opt into your page to get to know you, to join your team, to find out more about what you're doing, and not just about what you're doing, but how you can really help them, because 98% of the industry online, 98% of people who get involved in income opportunities do not make much at all. Hardly any of them actually ever are successful. So if you are successful and you stand out as a leader, you actually are doing something better than 98% of the industry. And if you stand out and you lead, and you show them value, and you show them that you can help them and answer their questions and give them instruction and training, then you can actually have quite a following of people throughout the entire industry. And a lot of these people are here because they've never made money in anything else before. And this AdHitProfits advertising platform helps people make money where they've never made money before. And so it actually raises that belief factor. And I think that's one reason why the opt-in rate is so high, is because it's targeted traffic. It's traffic that not only is targeted for this niche, but they're proven buyers, plus their belief level is rising up because they're seeing that they can make money online with AdHitProfits, and they might be looking to see what else they can do out there. And I know that for me, I've had a lot of people ask me, Charles, what else are you involved in? I want to join you, I want to follow you, whatever it is that you're doing, because their belief level has gone up in the industry, and they want to follow somebody. So, I mean, that's where it's important that if you haven't yet set up a directory listing, take full advantage, because this is some real strength here. Real advertising is going on, and this is just through the directory listing. I've shared with you earlier the testimonials for the banner ads that are out there. People are asking, well, how do I set up my listing? because I only see paid options. It's when you're inside of the back office, under Setup Advertising, click on Setup Listing. It's the very first option. And when you click on that, it asks you to fill in the information. And if you're on the directory page, it's asking you to create a title for your listing, a description, and then a banner. So what you're seeing, just like right here, this is a directory listing. So when you set yours up, you can just set up a title, description, and then set up your banner. And the banner, of course, what you're looking at is the image URL, and then when you click on it, that's the target. So that's what it's asking you to do, is enter in your banner URL, so the actual image address, so not the banner code or anything else, and then for the target, it's going to be where people are going to be clicking to go to when they go on your website. Let's see, I'm just going to scroll down to see what other questions that we have. When we have 15 minutes, I would like to come to Murray and have lunch with you and discuss some ideas. Not a bad idea, Kelly. If I had 15 minutes, I don't know what I would do. No, just kidding. Let's see. Steve Thomas. Charles, I have a question. Specifically want to ask both myself and one of my reps had problems with signups not showing underneath, despite the ref link definitely showing on my ref's name. I've actually, I tested this out. I've had many leaders that have been signing up people left and right, and they've not had any problems. But every now and then people have found an issue, and it appears to me that the issue is some kind of an add-on or firewall setting that's set up, or a browser setting, or maybe it's a browser type. I know that Internet Explorer has been a common browser with a number of issues. Firefox as well, mainly because there's add-ons in there that people don't recognize are there, and they don't recognize that those add-ons are interfering with referral links or with viewing ads. How do you and your staff make money? Don, that's a good question. Mainly, I also am promoting and growing and putting out this website in a lot of places. So I actually am earning a lot from, not a lot, but I mean I'm earning from referral commissions. That's a big portion of it. And I do also, as the owner, have a small percentage that I take for business things, like to pay for the advertising, to help pay for the hosting, and help pay for everything that's business related. I'm not going to go into a long list of everything that's involved, but there'll be more business expenses in the future, possibly needing to get a center, business travel, business events, those types of things. Will we have targeted advertising soon? That's a really good question. When it comes to targeting, that's one of the things that I'm looking at building in when we switch over to a pay-per-click model, where you can select, your budget per day, and you can select your countries that you want to target for your banners. So that's going to be something that I see is coming. Who knows? It could be within a month. I mean, I don't know exactly what I'm going to want to have to get that built in, but I can definitely realistically see that being something that's on the horizon here pretty soon. I found where to write my directory listing, but I don't know where the banner ad will be shown. So the banner ad is going to be shown on the directory page, like you can see here, as well as when people are clicking on the View Ads page. When you're on the View Ads page, what you're essentially viewing really are other people's directory listing banners. And so that's where you're getting 1,000 visitors to your website, is when other people are clicking on their 10 ads per day. Are you going to bring pay-per-click advertising? Yes, that is something that is definitely coming in the future. There looks like there's some copycats, found some numbers, and there really have been a number of copycats already, I mean, even since launch. Does it pose any threat to our program? I wouldn't say so, mainly because, I mean, a lot of people have said this, and I agree. When it comes to a program, you really want to know the owner. And that's one of the reasons why I've made sure to put myself out there, turn on the webcams, show off my Facebook page, show out who I am, because I am fully confident in how this works, that I'm not afraid to show who I am, because I believe in this. I know that this is working. For me, it's not a belief. I actually know because I see behind the scenes. I see the revenues coming in. I see the earnings on people's accounts. I see what's on in the processors. So I have no fear to show off who I am. A lot of these programs out there, you really don't know who the owner is. And if you do a who is search on them, they might list their name, but you don't know if that's their real name. And you don't really know anything about them. You've never seen them before. And if you've known them from another program, maybe some other problems existed with that, and some people can have a hard time following that in there. So I know that there's copycats out there, and I actually kind of look at that as being a good thing because it actually does promote AdHitProfits, because a lot of these ads that I see from these copycats, they say this is like AdHitProfits, and that actually helps build this brand actually a lot more for people who have said, hey, I've never actually heard of AdHitProfits. I'm going to go to Google and look them up. Oh, wow, there's a lot of really great things going on over there. They might ignore the copycat altogether and recognize them as a copycat. There's already been a couple of copycats that have pretty much crumbled since we've launched. And I look at copycats as, I mean, imitation is the greatest form of flattery. So I actually am grateful that there are people that look towards this opportunity and they want to copy it because they see that it's good. Charles, I've been asking this question on every webinar and it never seems to get answered. We have, will you ever accept credit cards as a payment processor? Because the credit cards are something that's available through both Payza as well as Solid Trust Pay. There's a lot that goes involved with credit card processing that I just want to stay away from the potential risks and focus on just building the business rather than have a whole another department to handle fraud and risk assessments and those types of things. I would rather just kind of let that be handled by the processors. Maybe sometime in the future. I mean, I haven't really set for sure. No, never in the future. But I can imagine right now that I'm going to want to stick with the processors just because it reduces your own risk. You know, because I mean, if you do a credit card payment to, let's say, Solid Trust Pay, and you use those funds to make a deposit or to purchase service on AdHitProfits, then your service, in a way, is going to be better protected because Solid Trust Pay is going to help make sure that if there's anything wrong that happens here, they can help you get your money back. Whereas if you pay directly to the site, you might not have that same kind of luxury. Even if you opened up a chargeback, that would only assume that I've not moved the funds out of wherever it came. So that's kind of one of the benefits of using something like Solid Trust Pay and Payza is that you can actually have a greater sense of safety on your end as well as on my end as well. It says, joined today and clicked around 20 ads, but the machine kept telling me that I clicked no ads, or there's no ads been clicked. Please show me what I should do. That kind of really goes into what's in the forum with the common solutions. And I kind of touched briefly on this just a minute ago, but it's going to probably be with something like an ad blocker add-on. If this happens, closing all your browser windows and starting a new session can help. Clicking the reload button on the ads view page, that reload button, really don't underestimate the power of that thing. It probably just seems like a silly button, but it really does help reset a lot of things that within the program help get things back on track. It's not the same as a browser refresh. Browser refresh, try to stay away from that on the ads view page if you're trying to solve a problem because the refresh might cause even more problems. So use that reload button there on the ad page, and that should work. If that's not working and the ad blocker's turned off, and it's important that if you're turning that off, that you turn it off not just for AdHitProfits, but you turn it completely off, and that way there won't be any interference with how the ad view counter works. There's a lot of good feedback, just scrolling through, a lot of people saying really great things. Brilliant concept. Advertising is excellent. Never had better results. Let's see. Websites. Let's see here. Having different genres being added. It's something that I thought about at the very beginning. I felt like since this is really for targeting internet income opportunities, that would be the only genre really. And so that's the main reason why I haven't added additional, and I'm hoping that this becomes more of a platform for people who are seeking to make money from home or seeking to build their income opportunity, their business opportunity, their multi-level marketing, direct sales, or maybe affiliate offers or Forex or something like that, something that can help people generate an income, because there's a lot of people who really need that, especially in this economy. So I'm not really offering, I don't think this will probably ever expand to like McDonald's commercials or anything like that. But who knows, maybe sometime in the future. A few months later or 1 year from now, if Google wanted to buy this website for $1 billion, what will I do? I was talking with someone about selling AdHitProfits. Actually, a few people have actually asked this question lately, and I've told them, this is my baby, I'm never going to sell it. But I think that realistically, if this became such an overburden and they had the infrastructure and the support structure and everything in place to keep, good care of everybody, maybe, and I don't know. I mean, I highly doubt that, just because, like I said, I mean, this is my program. You guys, I want to take care of you guys. I don't really foresee myself ever selling out. I was also explaining this to someone that I could really see myself handing this down to my son when he grows up, and he's an adult and I'm wanting to retire. I would ask him, hey, you want to take on the family biz or something? I can foresee that happening more likely than selling out to someone else. That's just my view of things just right now today. Isn't it a bit weird letting people advertise Ponzi's on your site? If you that I don't really, there's no really a real way to know whether it's a Ponzi or not, unless it can be proven. But if it is proven that it's Ponzi and that it's illegal, then I think that what we would really want to do is make sure that those types of ads are not on the site. So if you do report those types of ads to support, we can help make sure we get them taken down. But one thing to keep in mind, that these dollars are spent by real advertiser dollars, and we wouldn't want to, I mean, if you place an ad for something that you didn't know, like for example, the Ultimate Power Profits, something that came out a while back that's never turned out to being any good, never paid anybody anything as far as what I've been able to research. People were promoting that and paying a lot of money to build that, and I mean, taking down the people's ads, I mean, that's their money that they're spending, and you have to kind of respect the both sides of things too. So it's hard to know for sure. The do's and don'ts for promoting AdHitProfits. If you watch the compliance video, I would definitely just follow the outline, the guidelines there, mainly because we don't want to misrepresent AdHitProfits. When it comes to how this works, I would probably focus on what it says here on how it works instead of this will make you rich or anything like that. I mean, we definitely want to be realistic that how this works is you buy a directory listing and you share in the revenues of the ads on the site. The ads on the site have real value. I'm talking about the Alexa rankings, talking about those types of things that have real solid, verifiable things. And if you want to share, hey, this is how much I've earned, maybe say, I don't know how much you would earn in how much time, but you could always get started and find out for yourself how well it works for you. I think that those are just some ideas for you, just so that people recognize that what you have experienced is real, and never undermine that, but also set up a realistic expectation that this is a real revenue share, where there's not going to be a guaranteed time frame that you're going to reach the 5625. It's just going to happen as revenues come in. Have you looked at the issues that could occur with AdHitProfits if it grows too quickly? Cash flow, reduction in revenues, possibly causing people to be unhappy. These are definitely some things that I've definitely looked into, and I've kind of looked at it as we've been growing. The revenues have been increasing. And not only that, but I remember when we were first starting out, there were a lot of empty banner areas because there weren't a lot of people buying the banner space. I believe that the more people that we have here inside of AdHitProfits, the more people will want to buy the banner space because of the amount of people that are really here. I mean, you look at the Moneymaker forums, Talk Gold, and Russia, MMGRU, and all these other kinds of sites. I mean, there's just hundreds of them, and I've done a lot of research and gone to just countless of these. And not only that, but these monitor sites, that these websites are promoting, and they're spending top dollar to list their advertising on their website. And I really see that the greater presence that we have online, the more advertisers we're going to attract. So I don't really see as growth as being a problem, but just now a way of how do we manage that growth by maybe switching over to pay-per-click advertising to be able to lower the expense on advertisers and increase the revenues that we can split. The next question says, how is it different from hourly rev share? Oh, big difference. For one, they were giving you a set percentage per day, and it wasn't backed up by anything other than more people that were coming in. In my belief, hourly rev share, and I don't like using other company names while on a call, but since it's in a question, how is this different from that? They were offering a percentage daily or an interest, so they were giving you an interest on your account that they could only actually cover or pay for from new investments, new purchases. The great thing about AdHitProfits is what you receive on your account has already come in. You see what I'm saying? So that's where it's completely different. The revenues come in, the system holds it up until the next 30-minute mark, and then it disperses and shares that with you and everyone else. And so the money that you're seeing on your account is absolutely real. So there's not going to be a need to worry about keeping up with that and making sure that we have the right cash flow to cover payouts for members, because the cash flow to cover those payouts came before the member actually received those earnings to their account. So I don't see any problem with the growth. The only problem that I can see is maybe the time that it takes to reach the 5625 might take a little bit longer some days, or there might be some slowness at some times. But I think that that's not really going to be a major issue, especially going forward. There might be, I don't know, it could fluctuate, just like anything. I mean, if you've been involved in retail, you know that you show up to work some days, and some days you have a big sales day, some days you show up to work and you have a small sales day. And maybe people aren't as active in buying, or maybe there's a holiday or a weekend. It's kind of funny because every Sunday, the slowest day of the week, a lot of people, I'm hearing a lot of comments, this is slow, is this going to be around forever, is this going to crash tomorrow? All of these types of things. Every Sunday it's the same story. It's been that way ever since we've started. And I'm sure that every Sunday going forward we're going to keep hearing those types of things. Maybe on holidays or holiday weekends, people are going to be speculating and worried and doubtful, and no, I mean, there's not going to be any risk because the money is already there on your account. It's already in the processor. That's how we're giving you the earnings on your account. It's an actual split. It's an actual share in actual revenues, and I think that's something that sets us apart from programs like hourly rev shares. There's not any interest. It's not daily amounts that's set. We are giving only what is actually being received. If I purchase $45 advertising, then I would click 10-hour or 10 banner ads. So if I purchase another 45 package, then would I need to click 20 banners per day, etc.? No, only 10. If you have 30 positions, you only have to click 10. If you have 100, 1,000, however many positions you have, only 10 will qualify you for your split in your shares and the revenue for 24 hours. And there's a countdown timer. That timer, once when it ends, you'll to start it back up. This is a common question. Is hey, wait, my timer ended. I'm not going to click again until that timer starts up again. Well, it's just the opposite. Make sure to click because that starts the timer, because it's a countdown timer from when you last clicked 10 ads. My recommendation is to click before you time out, because the system actually, even though it shares every 30 minutes, it shows minute per minute whether you qualify for sharing in a minute per minute sales revenue. So make sure that you click before the timer runs out. Do I have to buy at least one share before I can get an affiliate link? You know, that is built into the program, but you can see your affiliate link also from the Tell a Friend page or the banner page. So you can see your referral link from there without having to buy anything, and you can earn as a free member. And I think that's one thing that kind of sets us apart from other opportunities as well, is you can be a free sign up, and you can refer other advertisers and collect the 10% commissions. And if that's how you do it, then your only withdrawal option as a free member without having ever made a purchase is through Payza, and that's just for security purposes. So if you want to withdraw your commissions through Solid Trust Pay, make at least a single purchase through Solid Trust Pay, and that way we can go ahead and verify that that is your Solid Trust Pay account that we're sending your commissions to. How much money comes in per day? That's something that I don't really want to talk about, mainly because I don't want to. It's something that you don't really see on any website either. Like for example, if you go to ClickSense, it tells you how much they paid out, or NeoBucks, they tell you how much they paid out. They won't tell you how much is coming in revenues every single day. I don't think there's any company that really tells you how much revenues are coming in during any particular day. Is there a threat to us when we advertise and mention investing in their ads? That's something that I've been finding out, that the company itself is not going to be really put at too much of a risk when individuals are using those types of terms. But what I'm being advised is to teach our members not to use words like invest, because if you are being unethical in your advertising and bringing people into AdHitProfits, misrepresenting the company, then governments can come after you. Regulators can come after you individually, just because it's not ethical. Just like any other sales job, if you're being an unethical salesman, then yes, you can be at risk. But for the most part, most people aren't going to catch the attention. I mean, even if you're doing it wrong. So I don't want to cause a lot of unnecessary fear or anything, but definitely be very much aware that you use right terminology when you're promoting AdHitProfits. This is not an investment. It is a real purchase, a real service, proven to have real results, better results than what some people actually experience through other advertising venues, such as the traffic exchanges and safe lists and things like that. Do you have plans to sell AdHitProfits? Jonah, looks like you had the same question as someone else earlier. So no, at this time I don't have any plans. I consider this my baby, and I'll be wanting to hold on to this. Have you and John discussed tax reporting? It would be nice to get some guidance. As far as what I've been able to find out through all of my research is, since none of the members are my employees, that your taxes are your individual responsibility. I'm going to be meeting with him face-to-face tomorrow and be discussing things such as this, and making sure that we're fully compliant in every way to ensure also members are protected. Now, something that some people do not realize about a compliance officer, what's the difference between a compliance officer and an attorney? Someone explained it even better to me even just yesterday, as they said an attorney gets you out of trouble, and a compliance officer keeps you out of trouble. So that's the difference. As well as what I was even mentioning to them is a compliance officer is there to protect not just me, but also the members as well. This particular compliance officer, if you're familiar with John Rock, many people who have been familiar with him in the past have gained a lot of added assurance and confidence in AdHitProfits, because they know that he's been involved in companies that were not doing things right, have not been honest, have been scamming and swindling their members. And he actually shuts these companies down and actually sets up to where these owners all get together and they're supposed to have a meeting, and in come the police and they all get arrested. He has been very instrumental in bringing down companies that have done things very detrimental to their own members. So he's not there just to protect me. He's there to protect you and the opportunity as a whole, whereas the attorney is there just to protect a company. So that's the great thing about having a compliance officer on board and fully retained. Charles, whenever the 10-minute ads per day or 10-click ads per day countdown ends in 30 minutes, should I start clicking my ads? I would definitely recommend yes. If you've got a spare moment and your timer hasn't finished counting down, yes. Take some time and boost up the ending of your timer just to make sure that you never miss out on sharing ads. I have a lot of people who do not have international, like Solid Trust Pay or anything like that. How can they use? That's where Easy Bonds is going to come in. Easy Bonds, I've been made aware from Easy Bonds that they are available for use in all countries. They can receive funds from any bank worldwide and send funds to any bank worldwide. So if you've got referrals or people that you want to bring involved in AdHitProfits for advertising or to purchase and click ads and share in the revenues, then yes, Easy Bonds is going to be the way that you'll want to go to ensure that they're taken care of. Where are you headquartered? I'm in Utah, city of Murray. Right now I'm just doing this as a work from home thing myself, and who knows, maybe one of these days I might need to get an office, but for the most part, for right now, I like just being here with my son and making sure that I can be here for him in case of any problems. I'm just going to answer a few more. There's quite a few answers here. I know that we've gone on for about an hour and 15 minutes. One more is there have been other programs whose admins have disappeared and there's no way of contacting them. Are you comfortable sharing your last name and business address and or some other ways to verify permanent contact? Mainly for me, I don't want to really have everyone have their contact me directly, mainly not for any other reason than just security's sake, as well as I'm not able to handle contact from individuals at this level of like 18,000 people calling my phone number, my home phone, or coming to my house or something like that. And one thing to really fully understand is 99% of the world, I believe, is good-hearted, and everyone that's probably involved in this opportunity is good-hearted. But there's definitely people who want to take advantage of me, maybe harm me, hurt me, take down this business in some way, and giving out my personal information so that people could come to my house might not be the smartest idea. So that's why I don't really provide that information. I know that admins have disappeared in the past. I've been online now for over 3 years. My first website that I launched as an actual admin is still online, still paying. TVI PTC. There's, that's the only thing I can really say to help people reiterate that I'm not just going to disappear with AdHitProfits, and if there are any problems, I'm going to stand by them and stick through them and make sure that we get through whatever comes our way and keep this online for years to come. I want to thank you all for being here with us tonight on AdHitProfits Webinar, and thank you all for being a part of this fantastic opportunity and for doing everything that you're doing to make AdHitProfits what it is, to help change the lives and other people's lives with helping them find another income, sharing the advertising resources that give them better results. Thank you, everybody. I know that AdHitProfits is what it is because of you. So thank you again for being here, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of your night.